Have you ever heard of or seen cleft lip and palate deformations? In a 2009 published textbook titled Maternity and Pediatric Nursing by Ritchie, Kyle, and Carmen, it states that cleft lip and palate is one of the most common forms of birth defects, occurring in every 1 out of 700 births. Such a staggering statistic suggests that most people have come into contact with someone associated to this birth defect. This kind of statistic is what has pushed me to pursue plastic surgery. This desire has backed my previous knowledge of cleft lip and palate and will aid me in defining cleft lip and palate birth defects, talking about the complications associated with them, and going into the experts needed to repair this form of birth defect. Hopefully, at the conclusion of my speech, you will have a greater understanding of cleft lip and palate, along with the needed experts. As I stated before, cleft lip and palate is a birth defect, and in the previously stated textbook published in 2009, it states that it is the most common facial birth deformation. In the American Society of Plastic Surgery publication in 2014, it states that it is due to poor development of the upper lip, roof of the mouth, or both. It also states that there can be variations in gravity, meaning that either one or both sides of the face can be affected. Now that I've gone into what cleft lip and palate is, I will talk about the complications associated with it, as well as the experts needed. The 2009 published textbook by Ritchie, Kyle, and Carmen states that one of the issues deals with eating. Obviously, babies are the ones affected by this form of birth defect and require breastfeeding. During breastfeeding, they do not have the proper suctioning ability. They also have issues with air consumption. By this, I mean that they tend to consume too much air due to the opening in their lip. Another issue is dental. These children either have misshapen teeth, misplaced teeth, or lack the teeth altogether. The next issue is in speech development. With this form of birth defect, many of these children have a nasal vocalization along with late maturation of speech altogether. Finally, the last problem associated with it is otitis media, which is just a fancy word for buildup of ear fluid. This buildup can lead to either temporary or permanent hearing loss. Now that I've gone into what cleft lip and palate is, along with the complications associated with it, I will talk about the experts required. In the American Society of Plastic Surgeons 2014 publication, they state that a plastic surgeon is required, a pediatrician, a pediatric dentist, several specialists dealing with the nose, throat, roof of the mouth, etc., along with a genetic counselor and social worker. Now, obviously, the steps required are surgery, speech rehabilitation, and dental restitution. Now I have gone through what cleft lip and palate is, along with the complications associated to it, and the required specialists. Hopefully, after today, you will have a greater understanding of cleft lip and palate and the needed specialists that deal with the repairing of this form of birth defect. Obviously, with such a staggering number of births that deal with this form of birth defect, it's no wonder that cleft lip and palate is such an important issue, whether you have a child, are going to have a child, or know someone who is having a child.